Hi everyone. Um, wow, I'm a bit out of it. I'm sorry. I'm about to do something really different now. But, welcome to my channel. Those that are new and those that have already subscribed, welcome back. And thank you so much for viewing this. Um, so today this could be a bit difficult for me. I am going to talk about the Scorpio moon, what it did for me. Um, so yeah, and I'm channeling someone a bit different today. It's going to be a family member that I have lost, that has crossed over. I can't say I've lost. Actually, she's reminding me the connection is stronger than ever. So, her name is Amy. She's a dear, dear, dear cousin of mine that crossed over, I want to say 7 years ago, and this Scorpio moon was all about her. She came through, and um, as difficult as it is, I am going to share our story, and it will make sense to you why the Scorpio moon has brought this relationship back into my life, because this was something that I desperately tried to bury. It was too painful. So, she's an older cousin of mine. She's much older. She died in her 40s. I come from a huge family, and I am the youngest, I think, or the second to the youngest of our generation. So, Amy is angelic. She is the sweetest person I've ever met. Very giving, very kind, very generous with her. She just came into this world with an open heart, and she just had love for all. And I learned so much of that from her. I did. So as I grew up, our relationship changed a little bit. She's very nurturing and always saw me as that little girl. And so anyway, I got into my teenage years, slightly changed a little bit, our relationship, well into my 20s. When I got into my 20s, and now we I grew up in San Diego. I think she did too. But she ended up moving to Chicago for work after college. And so we kind of had a little disconnect, and but the love was still there. I mean, still the same Amy. She moved to Chicago, and then I ended up moving to Chicago on my own, and we reconnected. It was great, and then we got into a little tiff. And I will admit, she's here, and she's like saying, "Go on, tell them." I will admit it was my fault, but back in those days, I identified more with my ego, and I did not want to admit my wrongs. And so, to make a long story short, we ended up not talking for a few years. The relationship changed, and I just didn't want to admit my wrongs and apologize. But I wanted to. I really did. I wanted to. I felt so bad, and I didn't know how. I didn't know how to come forward and apologize. I did get a wake-up call, but by the time I got that wake-up call, it was too late. She suffered a brain aneurysm, and she went into a coma, and she died. And that nearly destroyed me, because that's what the Scorpio moon was about, really, is truths being revealed, truth coming out, and that was a reminder for me. I never came forward with my truth and apologized, and really never had a chance to truly tell her how I felt about her. But At that time, I wasn't totally like awake to all of this channeling, spirituality. I've seen ghosts and people all my life, but I just didn't know what to make of it. And so, within hours of her passing, I believe she passed like in February sometime, like during the evening hours. She came to me in my dream because I went into deep depression and deep grief. I was besides myself. She came to me in my dream and left me a message, and she said that all is forgiven. Why are you crying? Why are you grieving? I am with you and I am a part of you. Something like that, she said. Right? Yeah. I'm trying not to let my emotions take over me. So she gave me that message. She said, that was your lesson. And so please learn from it and move forward. I'm with you. But I chose, at that point, I didn't realize I had a choice. I had a choice to learn from it and move on in a very positive way. Or I can choose to suffer and grieve. And I didn't know I had a choice. So I decided, I guess, I made that choice unconsciously to grieve for the next 2 years. It was really tough for me. It was so tough. So I ended up having, the bad habits coming back. I just spiraled. And I somehow managed to bury that. And I started exploring spirituality more, questioning my reality. So I guess that was a little of an awakening for me, enough for me to start questioning my decisions. One moment. Angel, stop. Please stop. Okay, they'll figure it out. And so, yeah, I started questioning everything around me. This just can't be. That's what brought me out of the depression, I believe. Thank you. She's reminding me, I just didn't want to live like that anymore. There has to be more to life than this, And so that's what led me on to my spiritual journey. Yeah, 2012 is when it started for me, where I started questioning everything. And she passed in 2010. So the lesson really was for me, it was all about the unspoken words, admitting your wrongs and asking for forgiveness and telling people how you really feel about them, Speak from the heart, be more heart-centered. And that's when it began for me. And so that was a beautiful lesson that I learned. One moment. She's speaking. Yeah, okay. And so like I said before, when you have these soulmates that leave you, they leave you with a gift inside. And what she left for me was many, but one of them was forgiveness. To have that in my heart, because I didn't have it before. I used to hold a grudge. I would be mad at someone and not speak to them, for something minuscule for years. And I would even forget why I was mad at them, but I knew I didn't want to talk to them. And so when she left me with this forgiveness, to have that in my heart, my life changed. My relationships changed. It wasn't like it was overnight, but I started changing my ways, looking at my decisions, my behavior. I looked at how others' behaviors affected me and how my behavior affected others, you know, the whole dynamic. So that is part of what she left me with. And she also left me with courage. The courage to do so. The courage to carry on and forgive others, including myself. And so this month, I said, is about self-care. And that's part of it. I'm working on forgiving myself. I am becoming more open with people and telling people in my own ways how I feel about them, you know? I'm trying not to hold it all in. That is something that has improved for me over time. And her returning with this message, like she has in the last week or so since the Scorpio full moon, was a reminder. Was a reminder that to move forward and continue telling people how you truly feel about them. And that is a lesson for all of us, because all we have is this moment, this now. We no longer have control over the past, and we don't have the future. What shapes the future is how you are in this now moment. That's a huge lesson for me, huge reminder for all of us, is to exist in the now, you know? The decisions that you make need to reflect your now moment. The moves and the decisions that you make, yes, of course. And so that is something that I will continue to work on. It's tough. It's really tough for us in this plane, and not to constantly go back to the past or think of the future, because we're so uncomfortable with what we have right now. And so when you bring more presence to your now, the reason why we are uncomfortable in the now moment is because we're either thinking of the future or the past. Past hurts, bleeding into your present moment. And then when it bleeds into your present moment, you project it out to the future moment, like, oh my God, that happened before, and then this situation is the same, and it's going to happen again, and I'm going to be in this cycle of, you know, lessons, and that's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. And this is the biggest lesson that she taught me, because she always lived in the moment. She was always happy, and I just didn't understand why. No matter what happened to this girl, she was always happy. Even in her passing, you know, when she slipped into a coma, she was peaceful. I felt her. I felt her. As she is now, you know? So, I hope this helps you guys. This was my biggest lesson thus far. And this is what I'll continue to work on. So thank you so much, everyone, for viewing this. I will see you on the next video. So much love and healing to all of you. Thank you.